Hello, students. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go over your assignment for future of newspapers. Okay, so I'm going to go back and forth between groups of 3 people and 2 people, and I'm going to say some stuff because I'm recording this in 2019. My old recording doesn't work anymore. ETSU's changed systems. So some of this stuff, if you're doing this project in 2020 or 2021, it may not apply to you. I'm, giving dates and deadlines and stuff like that. So it's specific 2019. So all of you have been given a basic data shell. And this is what you're looking at. Now, these columns here contain formulas. You're going to go in, if you're in a 3-person group, you've got 3 newspapers that you designated, 3 major newspapers and 3 minor newspapers. There's 3 of you in the group, so person 1 is reviewer 1. So reviewer 1-1 is the first reviewer's first review. Reviewer 1-2 is the first reviewer, second review, third review. And the same thing for reviewer 2 and reviewer 3. If you're in a 2-person group, I'm going to have to fill out the reviewer 3 part for you. I don't want one of you doing it twice. I'll fill out reviewer 3. If you only pick 2 newspapers, I'll pick the 3rd newspaper and probably paste some stuff in from the class, from last year's class, which was the first time that we did this assignment. So after you get your data entered, it's going to look something like this. Now, one of the things that Excel does is it puts innumerable decimals, like I don't know, up to the 10 billionth point. I would cut down all the calculated things, and I did it for everything else. Cut everything that's calculated down to 2 decimal places. I think I would also center everything, all the numbers and column headings. Probably should grab the column headings and stuff like that. I would center all that, make it look better in your portfolio. I think if you have all that centered and it kind of looks. So at the end, it's going to look something like this. You're going to put stuff in. You're going to do a review. I've got the sports category, the food kitchen category, the local news category, and the web tracking category. So the more specific you're able to look at stuff in kitchen and stuff like that, the better it's going to be. So I'm going to try to give an example for a newspaper that I'm pretty sure nobody picked this semester, the Savannah newspaper for Savannah, Georgia. So now I went in, first of all, and then I clicked on sports, and then I saw this article. The guy's holding a nice redfish there, and the article is about, fishing. So now let's look at some of the ads that you see. Now, you see an ad here. This is a Blockbuster bucket, and I think that might be something that Savannah now does, so I might not count that. So let's look at some of the other ads. Now, this ad here, like this tumbler jar, I don't get it. It's a candle tumbler jar. To me, I don't see any connection with that to sports. It probably, this ad is, you could find it in almost anything. You find it in news, kitchen. If you found it in kitchen, maybe I might be a little bit more connected. So we're looking at how well things are targeted. And to me, this is a picture of a guy on the water. This equipment that he's talking about, these buffs that you put over your face, that you breathe through when it's cold out, that makes sense to me. I mean, that's sports related. It's a picture of a guy. He's almost doing the same thing as the fisherman, the floppy hat fisherman guy there, who's also holding a redfish and also holding they're all holding redfish. I think over here you got somebody with a shark. Now let's look at some of the other ads. This ad has nothing to do with anything. Now you got a wild pheasant hunt here. Now that's pretty good. You got trolling lures here. Save 10 cents per every gallon. That's not really targeted. It's not really appropriate for this. You see stuff related to hunting and fishing in terms of the ads. Some of the other ads, I think these are other articles. And as I look through this, there's a Staples ad here. Now here's a deer hunting ad, Academy Sports, something related to deer hunting. I didn't mean to hit that. So to me, the articles that I see here probably warrant a 3 out of 4. And so it's the lowest. No targeting, no connection. Like there's no connection to what you're doing, like reading a sports article about fishing, to what types of ads you see. 2 is it's a little bit. 3 is it's pretty good. And 4 is it's very good. You know, they're really clearly targeting the ads. So I would probably give for sports for the Savannah newspaper, I would probably give that a 3 or 4. Now, once you're done with this, once you've done this, you need to go in almost every time you do this. The other thing you might have to do is you might have to, I religiously use ad blocker. I'm sure all of your generation of students, I've got a couple people that maybe are, well, they're not in my generation, but they're not that much younger than I am. And but most of y'all that are younger generation, you have ad blocker. You may have to whitelist some of these newspapers, or you know, turn off your ad blocker or something like that. But the big thing I think to do is to go in and wipe out all of your cookies and everything every time you do this. So you need to go in and clear your history, and usually that button clears all the cookies, everything that's in there, and you kind of got a clean web browser now. There's some other stuff you can do to clean some stuff out, like, you know, set your thing to never remember history, set your browser to never remember history and stuff like that. Some of y'all don't want to do that. I definitely religiously never remember history pretty much. But this is in order to do that on this computer, if I do that, it'll require me to restart, and I don't want to restart. So all of you go through, you're using, I had a couple questions. Yes, you picked the newspapers that you chose. So you went in your review and you did the newspapers. Now in 2019, this would be due Friday, the first Friday of November, and it'd probably be something similar to that. The next week after that, I'm going to want to meet with one person from each group. Now, if all 3 of you would want to meet and stuff like that, I promise not to waste your time. Get right to it, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. That's all I want to do. But I do need to have your data in. So I'm going to do the meetings like next Tuesday to Thursday. So if I know the deadline is Friday, but as long as you get this to me by, or I have the ability to see your spreadsheet by the time that I meet with your group member to go over things. I will also at that meeting go over what needs to be done for part 1 to fix it. Most of the part 1s, I think at least there's 5 groups, so 3 of them, you didn't have to redo it, which means, you know, you're getting an A. The other 2, if you had to redo it, you know, you're probably in pretty good shape. I didn't bug you one more time to redo it a second time. So you're in pretty good shape on your literature review, your introduction. I'll have a few things to say to each group about making it look better and be more portfolio worthy. So when we get done with this project, you know, it should be something that you add to your portfolio of academic work, and then you can, you know, add that to your portfolio so that when you apply for jobs, you post a portfolio of stuff that you've done. And particularly important for the students that don't have a ton of professional work experience, to get that portfolio built up. I'm going to hit stop recording. Good luck with this. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me, but hopefully I was able to answer it. So yes, you do use the newspapers you chose. Each person goes in. Person 1 is reviewer 1. Person 2 is reviewer 2. If you have a 3-person group, person 3 is reviewer 3. You review in those 4 categories: the sports, the kitchen, the local news, and then the web surfing. Making sure you may have to let your ad blocker, you know, whitelist or not, you know, temporarily disable your ad blocker. You also need to be careful to go in and kind of get rid of all your cookies and stuff before you do each review. And that's about it. And once we have the data and you understand what's going on, you can understand what those columns are, then you'll be able to kind of answer the questions and finish the write-up for this project. hitting stop. Have a nice day.